when this podcast goes out, we will have announced probably the most exciting institutional infrastructure provider, which is Google joining us as Google Cloud joining us as a validator and a data provider. So providing data on the network and taking part in validation. This is really very exciting to us as the network for data to have Google Cloud joining us. As I'm sure everyone on this podcast knows, Google is probably the preeminent data business in the world.
Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and that's Hugo Filion from Flare Networks. And look at Flare, surging nearly 37% on the 24-hour. The XRP community is so dang lucky. This news broke in the media, followed by Tony from Thinking Crypto. He uploaded his interview, which is where that clip came from. Flare is very much part of the XRP ecosystem and other assets like Bitcoin and Doge that do not have smart contracts. Have a listen.
So I want to maybe go to the very basics for those who are maybe now learning about Flare. Maybe they've come across this podcast. So can you tell me which assets are supported? You mentioned Bitcoin, XRP. Are there others? And what does it allow you to do?
So we're starting with XRP, then we'll be adding Bitcoin. The community and us, together probably through governance process, we'll figure out what else to add. Obviously, I want to add Dogecoin. I've mentioned that before. Remember that the F assets is only for non-smart contract assets. So F assets is a trustless way to bridge non-smart contract enabled assets like Bitcoin, like XRP, like Dogecoin, like Litecoin onto Flare. And it's a collateral-based system so that it remains trustless as opposed to trusted, meaning that there's a massive penalty for misbehavior in the system. Unlike existing, say, multi-signer bridges.
This smart contract capability of Flare brings DeFi to life. I'm talking DeFi in a big way, like staking, liquidity pools, swaps, even payments. XRP is going to have a big year of DeFi in 2024. We see some of that coming to life even with Futureverse. Futureverse has the root network that is bridged to the XRP ledger.
What am I able to do with that asset? Is it lending, borrowing? What else?
So Flare's expanding as a DeFi blockchain. We announced a couple of weeks ago a partnership with a lending protocol called Kinetic. You can see them, in the Flare timeline. They're called Kinetic Markets. They've built previously, they're part of something called Rome Blockchain Labs. They've built previously several very, very successful lending protocols. Probably the most successful is the Benki lending protocol on Avalanche. So it's the same team behind that, but obviously building bespoke for Flare using our data oracles from the FTSO. Lending, DEX swapping, LPing in DEXs. I think, simple stuff like transactions, cheap payments, particularly relevant for something like Bitcoin. That's important.
It's nice to see Flare make this big step. New blockchains just don't build overnight. And the F asset is going to drive the use case of the digital asset XRP big time. We cannot rely on Ripple to build demand. A blockchain with 100 billion assets needs more than one use case. Use case drives demand. Demand impacts supply. Limited supply, high demand equals nice price action.
As a builder, I think that, I contribute one of the biggest reasons why the XRPL has such low participation in comparison to the amount of holders is because of this idea that's perpetuated that, like, you hold this XRP, you hold it away, and then, one day it'll be worth $10,000 each one, right? The problem is that no one is using their XRP. And that's how did Ethereum grow? How did BNB grow? How did Solana grow? Because people were using the ecosystem, over and over again with the token, right? So, we're not going to see that sort of increase and even increase in price on XRP until people are actively using it, until there's a reason to use that XRP, right?
So why is the market responding so positively with this news? Well, Google will be validating new blocks to Flare's blockchain in a newly defined role by Flare. Have a listen to Hugo continuing to explain.
We managed to convince validators to do something they generally haven't done before, and that is to be data providers. Flare is the network for data, and what's really important to us is that we have a very decentralized network, or as decentralized as we can possibly get, that delivers high quality data. And so the validator role is not just being a validator. It is a merging between validator and data provider. In order to run a validator and get rewarded for it, you have to run a data provider. And so we basically went to those institutional validators like Anchor and the others you mentioned, and we said, look, we're building the network for data. We think that you could excel in this role. We would welcome having institutional data providers on the network, and we basically got them to change to a reasonable extent their business model to not just do validation, but also to do data provision. And this speaks, I think, to the support that we're getting as a network for the vision of being the network for data.
Just like the Flare token that was airdropped to all the XRP holders who prepared, the Evers token airdrop is complete for the registered XRP holders. The final step to collect your Evers is now available from today. You can sign in with your ZAM or Zaman wallet. You then poke the airdrop and sign the invoke event in your wallet, and voila, there they are. And should you wish to operate an Evernode node, BitTrue has listed the Ever token so that you can acquire the 500 minimum to start. And another thing that's entertaining me right now is Vanguard. They have, I guess, received 600,000 messages. How could that be? These are customers who are threatening to move their accounts because they're so unhappy with the stance that Vanguard has taken against the Bitcoin ETFs. This is really funny. What doesn't make sense, as it's pointed out in this posting on X, is that Vanguard has taken an 8.24 position in MicroStrategy, but yet they're not going to touch the ETF? This just doesn't make any sense at all. I predict they're going to change their stance, or they're going to lose a lot of customers. And as of today, the daily pass is now available for the XRP Gold Coast 2024, which takes place in March on the Gold Coast of Australia. Yeah, and we have some surprises in store for you. Watch the speaker lineup because we aim to surprise shortly. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.